Is Qatar 2022 the best World Cup thus far, in your opinion?
Greatest World Cup of all time is 1970, Chuck, which includes the semi-final between Italy and Germany, which is like the game of the century. Nah. This has to be like in our lifetime, because you start with that result, Saudi Arabia against Argentina. I believe like if Argentina just like switched on, they should have put like 4 or 5 past Saudi Arabia. But that happened, and then Saudi Arabia don't even qualify for the second round, and then we continue, and you have Germany who are then knocked out for a second consecutive time in the group stages, and it just keeps building like that. There was a point where when Argentina were 2-0 up, right, against the Dutch, I was ready to like I breathed a sigh of relief, right? Okay, there's a gap now, and we going into the last 10 minutes, Chuck. It's like, okay, this game is one, and you saw the reaction of like the Argentine team, like coming off the bench and they celebrations, like, okay, this is the goal that actually takes us there. But then in my tweets, I had an anticipation that, you know what, with this particular World Cup, it's not over until it's over.
Right.
It just keeps coming, and to a point where I'm just like, now hold up, because I know this organization. Who the heck did they pay for us to have this kind of action? Because even Chuck, even that Brazil game, Neymar finally has his legacy-defining moment with that goal, and it's over because what were Croatia showing up to that point, and then boom, a goal, and then they're out.
The history that says that when Neymar scores for Brazil, Brazil don't lose. Everything is stacked in Brazil's favor. They score in extra time. Neymar is the star, you're saying, and when he scores, they don't lose. Out of the blue, then they concede. That's crazy. So, are you saying that this one is the best?
Hands down. Like, you know, when people were talking about this guy we both know, like, was talking about doesn't have quite the feeling of 2010, and what I explained about that is it's like everything else that was happening around that World Cup in 2010, specifically for us, because like it was happening, we were like in the eye of that storm, right? And it felt like nothing else. But then the performances were subpar. Apart from what Germany were putting across in terms of putting 4 past England, 4 past Argentina, there weren't any really great games. Like those semi-finals were dry. That final, like going into extra time, was not like a very good watch. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying there's been like exceedingly great attacking football in this particular tournament, because tournament football is not one like that. And this tournament actually showed us exactly why someone like a Gareth Southgate has been coaching in England, because you want to be disciplined. You want to not concede goals. Most of these teams are playing not to lose versus having a mindset to win first and foremost. You take Holland and they come back against Argentina. If that is something that is available to you, why have you not been playing that way from the beginning? Like where you do have a workhorse, you do have a focal point in front. That is something that Louis van Gaal had up his sleeve, that if things go bad, this is what we go to. And then when they did come back to 2-2, they didn't continue pressing and pushing like in that way. You revert back to, this is how we're going to win this, is that we don't concede another goal, and it went to penalties, you know? So it's not that the action has been like the greatest attacking play like we've ever seen, but in terms of like the narrative, in terms of the storylines, in terms of the teams that have caused like shock, and in terms of like the sheer comebacks, the fact that you are never sure that this game is over until 18 minutes after the 90th, because that's another thing we found in this World Cup, like so much at a time. Then when you hear that whistle, it's like, okay.
I think I may be a prisoner of the moment, because I'm feeling it, like in terms of everything that you're saying. I've just felt it yesterday and the week before, and like the entire match, just about. I think this one has got like more narratives and storylines more than any other World Cup, because I mean, if you think about the past 3 campaigns, we were expecting Messi and Ronaldo to shine because they were the ghosts in that period, because they've been good for like 15 years, if not more. We thought coming into this World Cup that, okay, maybe Messi has something because he's shown a bit of form at PSG, but he wasn't in the Ballon d'Or voting, and you're like, we're not too sure what to see. He is making a claim, a very strong claim for being like the all-time greatest footballer. Ronaldo comes to the tournament as not being a starter for Man United. He starts for Man United, and then he's dropped on the bench now in favor of Ramos. Storyline. Messi, as you're saying, loses to Saudi Arabia. Storyline. Germany is knocked out again. Storyline. In that very same group, on the last day of games, there was a time where Spain and Germany could both get knocked out. You're like, okay, more storyline. And then there's Modric as well, who should be over the hill because Kevin De Bruyne said of his troops who are just over 30. It's Batal.
We can't do this.
Turns it on. Storyline. You're like, it's just more and more things happening. The comebacks against Brazil, and as you're saying, against Argentina, the penalty shootouts, Messi coming to life as a character.
Cameroon beat Brazil. And that's not even something that's going to be spoken about.
Morocco making it to the semi-finals. As you're saying, the World Cup just keeps on giving. I mean, that day was a crazy day of football where the comebacks were just happening match after match, and then there was the last game. Sorry, the last round of group games. Those were crazy, and this is the excitement just at group phases. And with group phases, Donna, we picked because we know Wales, but there's excitement nonetheless. Like Canada gave us one hell of a ride, but didn't win a single game. I mean, that's crazy. It's not a Qatar. You know, like how Bafana. We'd say Bafana gave us the right because we're a host nation and it's 10 Bafana. But what Canada did in terms of putting the pressure on all those teams and not really qualifying, what America did in terms of pressing England, that is amazing. So I think as a total package from start to finish, it's delivered. So I think I want to agree with you there that it is one of the greatest World Cups. And I don't know if Messi wins it, if that cements it, if Mbappe wins it, because there's still another storyline because Mbappe going back-to-back World Cups. That's also crazy.
That's something we haven't seen since Pelé, similar ages.